Hi, my name's Graham. You may have known me as Graham Walker if you were at high school with me. In 1972, I just turned 16 in late October, but about a month later, we had a band called the Jets, and a month later we go to a recording studios in South Beacon. It was ran by a man named Jerry Milo, and it was the only recording studio around except for Chicago. So if you wanted to record of any kind of quality anywhere in the Midwest, you had Chicago and Jerry Milo. So this is a documentary, and it's about the bands, yeah, but it's about Jerry Milo. The first time I met Jerry, it was my mother was dying of cancer, and she was really, really, really sick. I think it was the winter before she died, and Jerry was a TV repairman, and he came out to our house to fix this little TV we had in my mom's bedroom. And that's the first time I'd ever seen somebody open up a box full of tubes, and I'm going, well, that's pretty neat. But he was really polite. Most people would have turned the lights on, but he kept it really quiet because he knew my mom was sick. And he was just in there with a flashlight and just real quietly kind of crept in like a mouse, fixed the TV as good as new, and then left. And I'm going, wow, it was a neat experience, and it was even better because the TV worked. But I'd met Jerry that's when I first met him. And so when we got the Golden Voice, I was the only one who'd met him before, and I don't know, I think he might have known who I was because my parents had a hardware store, and he probably had stopped in there and bought some hardware things, probably even for a studio. But so I'm 16, we've got a band called the Jets. There's 4 other guys in it. I'm the youngest. We didn't realize it then, but we do now, what was a world-class recording studio. Jerry had microphones called U87s or U47s, and they're still the standard of the industry. In fact, the mics Jerry had then would be worth a fortune now because they'd be so vintage. But he got us recorded properly. I mean, what he recorded was down to tape, really good. But there was only so much you could do back then mixing. We recently got a hold of the master tapes, and we loaded them into Pro Tools, Logic, and started to remix them. We're going, oh my, these sound fantastic. They sound like a record done today, because Jerry did such a good job of getting the band to tape. But we didn't know what to do. We walked in them, we set up. He goes, well, play. And there was microphones around, and we didn't have a clue. But he set vocal mics up in the room for us to sing, and he mic'd up all of our guitars. And back then there was no such thing as really doing a lot of punch-ins. You got there as your band. You either could play good together or you couldn't. And fortunately for us, that band we were pretty tight. And we got all of our instrumental takes in about one take. I mean, I think we did maybe 6 songs. Mike Eisenberg was the songwriter, and Greg Clemens also wrote songs, but they were the oldest, and they were kind of the 2 that were the main guys, because the rest of us were just the kids, But I was writing songs then, but I didn't really play them until I had a later version of that band. But it was cool. We had actually, when it came time to buy recording gear, we wanted some home recording gear, excuse me. And Jerry got us set up with a 3340S, which was made by Tascam. And they're worth a lot of money today too, because they're vintage. But he also sold us these, they're called C1000Es, I think, or K. But there was an AKG microphone. And he sold us a bunch of those, enough that we could mic the band up through a PA, and the PA was this Century 4 is what they were called, made by Electro Voice. But so, and some Crown Power amps, and he was teaching us, this is how you set up a a PA, and how you plug the power amps in and a crossover and the horns. But the problem then, you couldn't buy cables back then, and we needed more cables. So Jerry says, well, you go to Peoria, and there's this place up there and get a bunch of, and he wrote it down for us, XLR male switchcraft conductors. Yeah, I guess that would be it. And then the female versions of it. So I got one here, but we went and bought them, but they weren't wired, and so we had a spool of wire and a bunch of connectors. So Jerry he took one apart and he showed it to us, and he was going, "This you have to take apart here and strip it, and then you put that wire inside of there." And he let us use the soldering gun. You put the soldering gun up into it, and then you pull this up on there and put the top on it. And hopefully it will work. But he knew better, because we needed like 30 cables or something, and he wasn't going to sit there and solder 30 cables, so he thought, I'm going to teach the kids how to do it. And he did, and I can still solder one to this day, though I haven't done it in a long time. But back then you couldn't buy any of the gear that we wanted or we needed. Even in Nashville was going to Jerry to get some of their MCI recording machines, because he was a dealer. And it was great working with him. He was just low key. The high that we got from hearing ourselves in headphones, the whole band together for the first time, was just like somebody just flicked a light bulb on us, like boosh, and we could hear ourselves play. And you can hear that in the performance, because we're excited, and it's got that that excitement that you only get once. And younger bands tend to get it more because they've never done it before. So we caught that, or Jerry did catch it on tape, because we'd never done it before. And really, I mean, and that Jerry had built that studio in the middle of Tornado Alley in a place called South Peak in Illinois, and it was known for tornadoes coming through. But he had this big brick building, and the only tornadoes that I remember back then were ones that came from inside the building. It was just the bands. And he had he really recorded a lot. He was great, and he as he grew, he took on some other engineers, and we got to work with them too. And but at this point in time, the exciting thing for us is we've got a hold of the masters, and we're going to be able to put a record out of all the songs that no one's heard that are actually quite good. Some of them sound like McCartney, some sound like a Beatle. Some of them are just fun little songs, easy songs, for kids to play. And we were a good band, and we had a great studio, and we had a great man in Jerry Milam, who taught us the ropes. And what we learned there from him served me as a recording artist years down the road, and even here at home. I remember you should do that, you should do this. And it was an exciting time, and we were the only band we knew that actually had gone into a recording studio and made a recording, and let alone multi-tracks, and when this record comes out of some of the songs that we could salvage, people are going to go, wow, it sounds current, And thank you, Jerry Milam, thank you, Mary Ann, for helping put this documentary together. This is Graham here, I'm signing off, and thank you. Bye-bye now.